Hey, how's it going, traders? Danny Naz here, also known as the Pup of Wall Street. Today we're going to go over my top 10 trades going into next week. Make sure you like and subscribe below so you can get these actionable trades as I put them out. Let's take a look inside.
Okay, let's dive into Apple. So Apple has been pretty strong these last couple of weeks. You can see here we're on the daily chart. We've broken over this channel here, and we're 3 days over the channel. We blew through both of these 200%. This one a 200% extension, this one a 200% projection. So right now closed at 179.50 on Friday. TTM squeeze has fired, possibly peaking here, right? MACD is starting to separate. RSI is in overbought conditions. Looking for a potential short-term play over these highs here for an all-time high breakout. It is possible we can see 190 to 192 before the end of the year, but Apple is looking pretty strong going into next week. Next up is AMD. Been keeping an eye on semiconductors. We had two touches right here on our swing low anchored VWAP, and that's off the break of that bull pennant there. We also have that 1618 pullback as well. A couple of things to note: we did lose 50 on RSI, squeeze momentum is to the downside, and MACD doesn't look like it's curling yet. However, I just want to keep an eye on AMD. The call flow and dark pool data was pretty interesting into the end of last week. So I'm going to be watching for a hold of 137 and potential target of 146 to the upside. Next up is Ford. Ford had some incredible call flow activity on Friday early in the morning. That sent us way higher and pushed us outside of our broadening formation here, or megaphone pattern, and we did get a close at 21.45. We still have a slingshot squeeze setting up on the TTM, and we had an RSI breakout, and we have a MACD crossover coming. So going to be watching for further strength in Ford, potentially up to 23.02. And of course, I do have my 1, 2, 3, 4 waves, and potentially here now starting wave 5. And so 1, 2, possible 3 here, 4, 5. Looking for 4 or wave 5 to finish somewhere in the $23 to $25 region. Next up is LRCX. We were flirting with a breakout last week. That failed with all the market noise. And now we gapped above that level again. Came into that 1272 extension at 711.25. Seeing a little bit of resistance here, but we potentially have a flag forming. So watching for a break back over 711.25 for a move to the upside, or potentially a back test of 700. Let's see how the market conditions favor us. Next up is Microsoft, another great trade on Friday, showing really good relative strength to the market. We did stop right at that 4236 resistance Fibonacci level at 342, right there. We already have our slingshot squeeze firing, moving to the upside. MACD is crossing over, or potentially crossing over early next week. And we also have RSI back over 50 and moving up. Plenty of room to move on RSI. Watch for a retest of the all-time highs around 348 next week for Microsoft. Next up is Micron. And so I have 1, 2, 3, potential wave 4 pullback here with a wave 1, 2 setting up for wave 5. So I'm going to be targeting $97 on wave 5. We did have our squeeze fire back here. That's starting to dissipate, but we are still showing some strength. MACD is intertwined, and RSI is holding over 50. MU looking pretty good into next week. Here next is NIO. So NIO lost our wedge and tried to reclaim it last week. We did reclaim it on Wednesday. Friday lost it. Thursday lost it, and Friday tried to reclaim it. So looking at this as a potential false breakdown. You don't see it on the screen, but that swing low down there, that's what we retested and held right here. You could see we tested it and held it there. Kind of tested it there and held. And so I'm going to be watching for another bounce here. If we get a bounce and a move over 35.42. I'm going to be watching for a move back up to 40 and then $44. We are bouncing off of oversold conditions, and we did have a squeeze firing to the downside. It looks like it wants to start to curl back to the upside, so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on NIO. Next up is Snow. Massive cup and handle here. Handles forming. Break of the handle already started at 370. Watch for a move over 371 to 400, possibly in the next 2 weeks. We did get our MACD crossover. No squeezes to note, but we are breaking back over 50 on RSI. So Snow looking pretty good going into next week. Next up is U, ticker U, Unity Software, another cup and handle. This one's still forming its handle. Where I would say it negates my pattern would be under 114.28. But right now we're trading in between the 786 and the 618 extension from that swing high, swing low, coming down to oversold conditions, no squeezes to note. MACD looks like it wants to start flattening out. It's not ready yet, but I am going to be watching for a break back over 153. And last but not least, number 10 is going to be Walmart. And so with this, we have a massive wedge forming here. We had a bounce off of the bottom of the wedge, which is also off of the swing low anchored VWAP, where we saw a bounce off of here and here. RSI starting to break out, although not over 50 yet, but watch for that break. And MACD's already starting to curl up, so watch for that crossover. So yeah, I mean, I think Walmart looks pretty decent going into next week. So that's my top 10. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. Really great for the algos. And of course, leave a comment below, even if it's just to say hi. But if you have a question about any of these charts, feel free to ask. Thank you very much for being with me. Good luck in the markets next week. Before you go, reminder, Fed meeting, 2 p.m., Jay Powell on Wednesday. Very, very important. Be very careful going into this Fed meeting. I just have a feeling that there's going to be some really interesting news being released. So just be very careful next week. And of course, see you there.